parietal over the top, occipital in back, and then temporal along the sides. 4 lobes of the cerebral. See the difference for the cerebellum in terms of the gyri, much more compressed. Sometimes over folia. That's okay, but just stick with gyri. And then a good look at the brain stem extending down from underneath. I like to see the term zona fatalis, the fatal zone. Just not tolerating any trauma in this area of the brain. In head stroke, you die in your sleep. Hardly observable for any damage in the brain stem. Then go underneath, inferior view. It's a nice cleaned off gyri with the sulci, so nice and obvious there. Should be able to tell me, say, which hemisphere this is.
Left.
I only know when I ask it, everybody moves their head, trying to put themselves in the position of a specimen. Well, this hemisphere, left, right? If you're looking up, backside down, to the left, right hemisphere over here. Got your temporal lobes curling underneath. But most importantly, the cross underneath. X marks the spot. So this is the chiasma, where the optic nerves cross on the other side of the brain. Important because there's a structure right next to it that's usually not there. So right here, missing the pituitary, right next to the optic chiasma. Not back here, often mistaken, up here. So close that with any enlargement of the pituitary, we usually show optical defects pressing up on the optic nerves. And then further back, you've got the brain stem, upper swelling, pons, and then the smaller lower one, medulla, M&M, magnum, medulla together. Pons is always the top one. And then the distinctively different look of the cerebellum. Left and right hemisphere with the vermis on top of the other side. So that's everything for the underside. The favorite place to examine is the mid-sagittal section, right down the middle, where you get a lot of these all-star structures right inside. From this view, you can clearly see the corpus callosum, call it the wing. And then you got your mushroom cap with the thalamus in the middle. Brain stem with the pons and the medulla. Cut section of cerebellum. See the arbor vitae, the white matter inside, the little tree of life, and then the little space underneath. Always filled with cerebrospinal fluid, floating your cerebellum. So that's always the 4th ventricle. Pointing at a space underneath the cerebellum, it's got to be the 4th ventricle. And then for everything else, we pull in much tighter, get real close on the inside. So now you can name the 5 parts of the corpus callosum. Start up front, rostrum, upper bend, curvature upwards is the genu, the flat top on part, on top there is body or corpus, and then the finger that points down, splenium, the tail. And then underneath there's a Y-shaped part. Tail is right there, the upper V. There's the fornix of the corpus callosum. Know the 5 parts of that overall great bridge. And then looking on the inside, the left lateral ventricle, off inside the cerebrum, giving it buoyancy, fluid that now is in here to give a little water cushion inside the cerebrum, which is then connected through the fornix to this midline trench, the 3rd ventricle. So you have left lateral, right lateral, both connecting in the midline of the 3rd. We said there's no such thing as 1 and 2. We go right to the 3rd, which then is connected to the 4th underneath the cerebellum. So they're all interconnected together, dynamic circulation of cerebrospinal fluid. And then right below the trench, you have the mushroom cap, thalamus, and right below that, hypothalamus. Here's the side of the optic chiasma. This is a lobe of the hypothalamus. So right in between, right there is where you would find the pituitary. As usual, it's not there, left in the cellulosica. So if I would ask you about this, I'd say this structure is right up against the optic chiasma. What should it be? Your handout, hit post 2 next to the optic chiasma. You have to more imagine it than usually see it. But this usually is there. And then we go back to the splenium of the corpus callosum. It's pointing down at the pineal gland. I won't ask who asked for endocrine. It's just a great specimen for a pineal. Shrunken, hardly able to see it at all. But below that, you have 2 bumps, 2 on either side, 4 altogether, the CQ, corpora quadrigemina. But then know the name of the 2 bumps on either side. The upper bump, superior colliculus, and inferior colliculus. And then you'll learn more about those in clinical, especially pediatrics, when you're testing for visual and auditory reflexes. See how the development's going on in those bumps. That's the reason I bring those up for future clinical coverage for those developing areas of the brain. Superior, inferior colliculus. And then down the brainstem, see just the upper swelling. So there's the pons, and then the medulla is not in the frame there, it's cut off. Always try to show you them together for comparison. But asking, you listen and say, yeah, the upper one versus the lower one. Verbally point you in the right direction. And then last, here's a pathway right next to the fornix of the corpus callosum that's connecting the halves together. About 20 million pathways in this little circle. It has a word associated with it that you have to know for anatomy. means connecting the sides together. So it is a
Summation.
commissure, right? So this is a commissure whenever you're connecting the halves together. Ironically, the greatest commissure of them all doesn't get that name. It's the corpus callosum, which I would like to see them change to the colossal or the colossal commissure. 250 million pathways in here. There are a number of other commissures that just say you're connecting one side to the other. You have to know that name for anatomical terminology. Commissure. The crossbar of the H is a commissure. So that's all your brain gross anatomy. Then go to the spinal cord coming out of the foramen magnum. Cut open the dura of the meninges. Very tough, strong outer covering. Destroys the arachnoid when you pull it up, the spider's web. I say it's more of a space than a tissue layer. And then right on the cord, you see the little saran wrap layer. Pia, right there. And then clinically, you go down the cord to the most clinically important area. About lumbar 2, lumbar 3, the cord changes. Goes from a solid mass, forms a little cone, and then you get roots descending below there. So where you form a little cone, that's the conus. Conus medullaris. The conus is fine in the business, no one says medullaris. It's conus. And then below, looks like a horse's tail, the claudia equina. All these roots descending to the lower extremities. Conus, solid mass, claudia equina, roots. And then you should know the stabilizers of the cord, the ones that are most involved in trauma, the denticulate ligaments, helping to stabilize your spinal cord inside the dural sheath. Keeps it from twisting, would cause paralysis if that happened. So I would describe it as a little dense white band. It's actually pia going from the cord to the dura. We have another one here. Sort of hard to pick out, but there's a good one right there for a denticulate ligament. Teeth-like ligament. Those can be broken with pretty good trauma, we'll say falls or car accidents. Whereas the other one is down in between the fibers of the claudia equina. Stabilize your conus inside the spinal canal. So we have to tease apart the claudia equina and now see this massive thickness of pia goes all the way down to your coccyx, anchoring the conus inside the spinal canal. Keeps it from flopping around. Very unstable if this would be broken. Never heard of one really being broken without the person being killed by some other trauma, or damage, skull fracture, or massive internal injury. Rarely do you hear anything about the filum terminale. It's a great stabilizer for the conus. And then you can see a little pia teased off the cord there. Angel hair, delicate layer. So those are the structures that are very important to the clinician. Conus, claudia equina, denticulates, you don't really see very much here.